Woj, take us through. Adam Silver, about a 60-minute phone call this evening with the Players Association. What are the key points that were made on that phone call?
Steve, Adam Silver was pretty candid with the players this afternoon on that call, talking to them about the possible resumption of play this season and what the future might hold. But in the short term, Adam Silver talked about a 1 or 2 site model where players would go if the season were to resume. No decision on resuming the season likely any time in May, and even into June at the very least. That the league believes they have time. He left open very much the possibility that regardless of whether this season is played, that next season could start sometime in December. And he painted a potentially grim financial future in this player-owner league relationship, based on lost revenue and no guarantees next year about how quickly and how fully arenas will be able to return with fans in them.
Well, let's take it a step further. I think this is the big concern and question is out there with all of pro sports returning. It's inevitable that one individual, probably a couple, will test positive at some point. Is there a contingency plan for that in the NBA once play starts, whenever that might be?
Steve, Silver talked about an idea that he said he had actually had a conversation about with Rob Manfred, the baseball commissioner, the other day, but that if a player were to test positive in the resumption of a season, that they can't, what won't work is having to shut everything down, pull the team out, have to end a series. That if they're going to return to play, the belief is they'd have to be at a point where the player would be removed from the team, treated individually, and there's going to be mass testing going on among everybody within a team or within a potential bubble environment, and then you would deal with it with those who remain. But the league certainly believes that it's not a model that could go forward this season, if they'd have to shut down with a positive test, because I think the expectation is no matter how well you think you can isolate players and control the environment, you're going to have positive tests.
Well, last thing, so with the excitement of 2 team facilities opening up, there was some talk that are teams potentially pressuring players from other franchises maybe to come back to work. Did you hear any of that, and was that addressed on the phone call?
That was addressed with Adam Silver. It was brought to him by Chris Paul, who's the president of the Players Association, and told him that there was a sense among the rank and file that some teams were pressuring players to come back for these voluntary workouts. Adam Silver used the word, if it were true, disheartening, and that he would remind teams that these are voluntary workouts and nothing is mandatory about returning to play until the league decides that they're going to make a formal return to play.
And maybe the headline from that phone call is, as you point out, the significance of the month of June. Woj, thanks very much for joining us here on SportsCenter.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.